So a Nazi came to my town today, openly, stood in the middle of town with a giant sign.
Mo Davis, the Childless Outsider. I hope you're all doing well. Please view the previous video. And then ask yourself, how openly racist and how open and honest does a Nazi have to be for you to respond? And the reason why I ask this is I am born and raised in Canada to immigrant parents during the peak of the skinhead era. If you're not familiar with what skinheads are, they're basically neo-Nazis. And they were part of a pretty large movement. They were violent. They were overt. They didn't hide. They didn't have to, because even if the majority of the population did not behave like them, they were either willing accomplices or enablers of their behavior. And so my question to you is, how far are you willing to go to show with whom your alliance stands? Because at the end of the day, you are either an ally of the aggressor or an ally of the victim. There's no neutral ground. There's no such thing as neutral ground when there is abuse, when there is violence, and when there is systemic oppression and exploitation. My experience was horrifying, with multiple attempts basically to unalive me, and a lot of physical and emotional harm, leading to one of the worst cases of PTSD for racial abuse in this country. How do I know? Because I've had the formal diagnosis and I have the letters to prove it. So again, as a parent of racialized children, as a person who has been on the other end of the spectrum, and as a very overt anti-racist and anti-bully, what side do you choose? There is no neutrality. The fact is, freedom of being and freedom of speech ends at oppression and hate. That cannot be tolerated. If you tolerate it, then you are an alliance of it. There is no other way. I will be starting content about my PTSD journey and how my experience has been, but in the meantime, I really encourage you to think long and hard of which side are you on? Because this is one scenario where there is no gray. Case closed.